The Man in the Woods. It was a quiet, crisp night on the Arsdale Railway, and all of the miniature engines were resting in their shed. All except for Rex. He was at Arsdale Mines helping the workmen with a large order of ballast. The order would take several days to finish, and the men were working all through the night to get as much of the order done as possible.
How much longer until we can go?
1 minute sooner than the last time you asked. You're not scared of the dark, are you?
No, not at all.
Rex didn't like working at night. He wasn't afraid of the dark, only what could be in it. It was nearly midnight when the workmen finally finished, and Rex quickly set off for home. As he traveled through Maithwaite Woods, Rex began to feel very uneasy. He couldn't quite explain it, but it felt like something or someone was watching him. Then Rex thought he could hear footsteps coming from deep within the woods.
What was that?
His driver heard it too and stopped the train.
Who's there? Show yourself!
The footsteps grew louder. Then a gust of wind shook the trees, and leaves began to dance around Rex's wheels. Suddenly, an ear-piercingly loud scream erupted from the woods. Rex and his driver had heard enough and sped back home as fast as they could. Rex was shaking like a leaf when he arrived back at Arsborough West. He shunted his trucks into a siding and went slowly to the sheds. But Rex was so skittish that the moment he touched the buffers, he let out a frightening whistle.
Help! Help!
Rex? What's the matter?
Ghosts! What?
Ghosts? Nonsense! There's no such thing!
I heard it! I heard its footsteps behind the trees, and then it let out this horrible scream! I never heard anything like it before!
It was probably just the wind.
It wasn't. It was Clayton.
Who?
It happened a long time ago, back when the Mid-Sodor Railway was still active and full of many friendly faces. But there was one driver who wasn't a friendly face at all. That driver was named Clayton. Clayton was a very aggressive man who always tried to have his way. And I'm sorry to say this, crept into his work habits as well. Clayton drove his engines very roughly and would glare coldly at them if they dared speak back to him. Eventually, his behavior became so rough that he was taken off driving passenger trains and instead assigned to drive the mining engines. Clayton didn't like this at all and would handle the mining engines very poorly. Trucks and equipment were damaged because of Clayton, but he didn't care a bit. The quarry manager couldn't fire him because of a worker shortage, so Clayton continued on in the same aggressive manner. One day, Clayton was shunting a row of trucks into a siding, wherein his engine began to groan in pain.
Clayton! I don't feel so good.
Shut your trap, you bloody rust bucket!
And the engine kept quiet, but it felt as if it was about to burst. Then Clayton bumped the trucks into the siding very hard. The engine shrieked in pain, as suddenly a loud bang sounded out, and a jet of high-pressure steam and scattering water burst into the engine's cab and onto Clayton's eyes. He screamed in agony as the hot water and steam burned his eyes, slowly melting them into nothing. Another driver quickly shut off the engine steam, but by then, it was too late. Clayton was still screaming, his hands scratching at the blooded, hollow sockets where his eyes had once been. Several workmen tried to subdue Clayton, but to no avail. In a fit of pain and rage, He ran off towards Maithwaite Woods, his arms flailing wildly. No one saw him again after that.
What happened?
No one knows for sure. Some say he disappeared in the woods. Others say he fell into the ocean. But one day, a year after Clayton's accident, a hiker went missing in the woods. After 3 days of searching, someone found his body lying motionless on the ground. But when they turned him over, they were horrified to find that his eyes had been plucked out of his skull. No one knows where the hiker's eyes went, but in the years that followed, many more unfortunate people were found dead in the woods, with their eyes missing as well. Legend has it that Clayton still roams the Maithwaite Woods at midnight, looking for a new pair of eyes from whoever dares to step foot in his territory. His footsteps and shrieks of pain echo through the night as he wanders the woods looking for his next victim. But he is never satisfied with the eyes he finds, so he keeps hunting for a new pair. Maybe it could be yours.
Rex was chilled to his core, and even Mike seemed a little more shaken than usual.
Well, you need to work on your ghost stories, Bert. There's no ghost in those woods.
And I suppose you'd like to prove that?
Mike, who was now too cross to think clearly, agreed to Rex's proposition.
I bet I could travel those woods at midnight and nothing will ever happen. You wait and see. There are no ghosts in those woods.
And he went huffily to sleep. The next day, Mike volunteered to help the workmen at the mines with the large order of ballast, and the small controller agreed. As Mike headed off for the mines in the evening, Rex and Bert were worried that this would be the last time they would see Mike in one piece. Mike stayed at the mines all night, and by the time he was able to leave, it was nearly midnight. He didn't want to admit it, but Mike was starting to have second thoughts about the whole bet. Mike and his driver soon reached Maithwaite Woods. The trees seemed taller than usual, and every little sound seemed to echo through the trees.
Nothing to it. There's no such thing as ghosts.
But up ahead, a large branch had fallen across the line. Mike's driver stopped his engine and went to move the branch when he heard footsteps coming from behind.
Hello? Anyone there?
No reply came. Then the footsteps began to grow louder.
Whoever's there, show yourself at once!
Suddenly, a tall, shadowy figure emerged from behind a tree beside the line, its eyes glowing a bright shade of blood red. Mike and his driver went pale. Then the figure let out a deafening pain scream and began to make its way towards Mike. Mike's driver quickly moved the branch, climbed back into Mike, and sped back to Osborough West, faster than they had ever gone before. Mike said nothing as he slunk quietly back into his shed. Rex and Bert were still awake, and while they were glad to see that Mike and his driver had made it back alive, they thought it was best not to say anything. But as Rex and Bert drifted off to sleep, Mike stayed awake, as his eyes staring into the woods in which he had nearly lost them to the vengeful hands of Clayton.